This is the plaintiff, Stephen Edmondson. He says he was driving on New Year's Day when his car began to give him trouble. It stalled and he was stuck in the middle of the road. The defendant came and towed him to his mechanic, and then the next day his car was impounded because the mechanic didn't pay for the tow. All his belongings were in that car, including his tooth. The defendant's holding his car hostage. He still doesn't have his tooth and is tired of looking like Elmer Fudd. That's why he's suing the defendant, who's nothing more than a crook, for the $756.64 he's owed. This is the defendant, Hadrick Ray. He says he told the plaintiffs 8 or 9 times, and on this particular occasion, he told the guy's car to his own mechanic, who was evidently mad at the plaintiff. The guy had several cars at his shop. He hasn't paid the tow on any of them, and he refused to pay him for his services. The mechanic wouldn't even accept the plaintiff's latest car, so he towed it to his own lot. The plaintiff abandoned the car at his lot, and he had no other choice but to have the car junked and removed from his premises. Oh, him? Ha! He's accused of not going toe-to-toe. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $2,210 for unpaid towing fees and storage.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket. The plaintiff was driving on New Year's Day. His car broke down. He had it towed to a mechanic. The problem is the mechanic didn't pay for the tow, and the car got impounded. His tooth was inside the car. Now he's in bad shape. But the defendant says the plaintiff caused his own problem because he's a deadbeat. It's the case of the plaintiff who lacks wisdom.
Thank you, Douglas. Stephen Edmondson?
Yes.
You are suing H&R Towing and Transport, represented here by the owner, Hadrick Ray?
Yes.
Okay, for $756.64 for holding your car hostage. You have a counterclaim against him for over $2,000 in tow fees and storage. Okay, let's hear what happened here.
Well, my car broke down and called the tow company from my friend's telephone.
And tell me again why you couldn't call from your own phone?
Because I had no money on the phone. It's a prepaid phone.
You have to have a prepaid phone because?
Because it's cheaper than having a regular cell phone.
When your credit is really bad because you don't pay your bills?
Well, my credit's not that bad.
That's usually when someone needs a prepaid phone, right? All right, so you had a friend place a call.
Yeah, he was passing by, and he said, "What happened?" I said, "I broke down. Car was supposed to be..."
This is on what, January 1st?
Yes.
Happy New Year. All right, and so he calls. Who decided what tow company to call?
Well, I have his business card in my pocket because I used him previously.
His business card?
Yes.
You had used him previously how many times?
Oh, a lot of times.
And had you always paid?
Well, what happens is the mechanic is contracted to surf glass in Long Beach.
Okay.
So I have 2 cars down there now, and this is the 3rd car.
Why did you have 2 cars down there now?
Well, I have one that needs a catalytic converter, and another one that we haven't figured out what's the matter with yet.
Okay. Are you actually the person who does the tow as well as the owner?
I'm the owner of the
Okay.
company. I've towed his car a couple of times during this whole scenario, but I do have the driver here that actually...
Can I hear from the driver, please?
Okay.
Okay, so it's January 1st. It's your call. And what happens when you take the car to the shop he's talking about?
The mechanic, Surf Glass, did not want to accept the car because he had the 2 other cars that were unpaid. He said he didn't want it on his lot. I gave that information to Hadrick. He made the call, said, "What do you want us to do with it?"
Okay, so Hadrick, Mr. Ray, you then call him and say, party's over at that particular mechanic because he didn't want to store any more of your cars.
Yes, I let him, because what happened was we picked up this car in the morning time.
By the way, what kind of car is this?
It's a 1998 Ford Crown Vic.
98 or 88?
88.
88, I'm sorry, 88. Ford Crown Vic color gray.
And that baby still runs? Well, not anymore. So go ahead. God bless it.
I called the customer.
Yep.
I told him that how Surf
And what
Glass
did
is
he
not going
say?
to accept your vehicle. Are you going to pay for the tow for me towing it to Surf Glass? And he told me, hold on, and didn't get back to me for like another 5 days.
And then he calls you back in 5 days and says what?
He says to me, I don't have nowhere to bring it to. What should I do? I said, well, if you're not going to pay for the towing of our services, I'm going to
Keep your car
Keep your
until
car.
you pay
Until
for
you pay, yes.
All right, so does he say, well, how much do I have to pay to get it out then?
Yes.
He does ask you that. And then what was it at that point?
I told him it's $125 for the initial tow that we did. I told him that you were supposed to pay for a tow that we went to go do for you in Seaford, New York, which you said you were going to pay, which was going to be $85.
Oh, that's some other tow?
Yeah, he never paid that either. And I told him that now that the car was impounded, you didn't get back to me in 5 days, I'm going to charge you the Nassau County rate of $135 for the impound rate.
All right, and then what did he say?
He tried to negotiate prices. I told him, listen, pay this certain amount, you can get your car out.
How much did you tell him he could pay?
It was about $400, $500. I told him
And
just
then
pay
what
it.
did he say?
He told me he'll get back to me, and I never heard from him since.
And then you got the lawsuit?
Then after 30 days, I sent him a letter, a certified letter in the mail, knowing that you have 10 days to come pick up your vehicle and take care of the charges.
And pay all the charges, or
Never got back to me
So
again.
you ended up junking the car?
Yes.
Okay. Now, let me ask you a question. What say you happened? Because apparently you know that it's true that the repair people, Surf's Glass, didn't want you dumping any more. How many cars do you have?
3.
Okay. They didn't want you dumping a third car on them because you apparently owed them money. Do you agree that you have that conversation with him on the 1st of January?
I didn't have the conversation. Marguerite, my girlfriend and witness, had the conversation with on the phone. She came into the bedroom and told me that your car is being towed to the tow yard. So I said, find out how much it is.
Okay, come on up, please. So you told her to find out how much it is?
Well,
Did you
she got
speak to her or to him, or you don't know?
I spoke to her majority of the time. I thought she was the owner of the car.
Okay, go on. So what happened in that conversation on January 1st?
I told him, and I told him to handle it. He's the owner. It's basically his problem.
Okay. Oh, your girlfriend's kind of sick of you. Okay. All right. So on the first day, do you remember how much that was?
No, I don't.
Okay, but you did get that information and pass it along to him and tell him, handle it, it's yours?
Yes.
It's your car. And then what did he do? Handle it the way he handles things?
He offered to pay
Yeah, but that's much later, right? That's days and days later.
The shop was closed on New Year's Day. So 48 hours later, 24 hours later, we got a recall from I believe, the tow company saying, we're going to be closed on Saturday, make sure you get the car out on Monday, otherwise the car is going to be crushed. Then we had the major snowstorms back and forth.
Why don't you just go pick up your car when your car gets towed like everybody else does?
Well, I had no way of getting there. And the last time we had a conversation, I said to him, well, you want me to give you the title of the car because there's no book value on the car because I...
Why would he want you to give, I mean, what he wants is for you to pay your bill, which is a lot more than what your car's worth, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Even on the first few weeks, it was a lot more than what you...
So he says, I want the car, and I want the fee for the car, and I want your car. I said, it doesn't work that way. And then he got mad that I called the town of Hempstead on him.
Right.
So
When you say called the town of Hempstead on him, what does that mean?
he's not going by the tow rates.
What was he charging you, and how was it different than what you got from the town of Hempstead?
So what's a 1988 Crown Victoria worth?
哪一个?
What do you think?
I don't know.
You don't know. What do you think it's worth?
Not maybe $100.
Do you think it makes sense that a guy would let it sit in a tow yard for a while, not really care about it, and then get it out of impound, pay a lot of money for an 88 car?
Not at all.
Doesn't make a lot of sense?
No.
Not to me either. Not to me either. Going inside the courtroom.
I think he was charging $10 to $15 for the first couple of days, and then I think it went up to $25 a day.
Okay, hand me what you've got, please. Hand me a bill for what you say they owe. What did you charge him for the tow?
$125, man.
What is the rate that you're allowed?
$60 for the hookup, $15 for a flatbed, $15 for dollar use. I got it written down right here.
So break
And
down the
And the mileage is
125.
$5 a mile, and it was an 8-mile tow from Merrick to Long Beach.
Okay, called to jumpstart scene, made to wait, then had another driver jump the car and drove off. What is that? That's another time?
Yes. Went there.
Wait, when was that?
That was on 12/21/2013. I've towed this vehicle 16 times out of the whole year.
16 times?
Yes.
16 times?
Well, I don't think all that car. We had 2 other cars, too.
Oh, it might have been some of your other cars? Okay. Don't you think it would be better to have a car that doesn't need all this towing?
And gave him rides home every time.
Okay, so yeah, do you owe him $85 for calling him to a scene?
Yes, I do owe him
Okay, in
$85.
Seaford, gotcha.
Yes.
Now let's talk about the impound fee in accordance to parking enforcement rates.
Yes,
What
when
is
you-
that? Enforcement, but what is that?
That's the town of Hempstead rates for illegally parked vehicles on a property.
Okay, can I see what you're talking about where you get to charge $135 plus storage?
I have it marked with stars, too. The $135 was the initial fee when you pick up that vehicle and you bring it back to your tow establishment, your
Yeah,
tow
but you're
yard.
double dipping. This is for when you pick up a car on private property pursuant to a contract that you have with a private property owner. This doesn't apply to you in this situation.
The car was dropped there on the property, and let me.
Oh, okay. Wait a second. All right, I got you. Hold on. Your argument then is that that's for the second tow.
Yes. I'm sorry. Maybe it's off.
That's all right. No, that's my fault. I got you.
I dropped the car there initially. It was about 2-3 hours later when the mechanic called back.
So they call you back and they say, come back.
Yes, please. I don't want this car on my property because they're not paying their bills.
So you should get another $95. It says for that in the first 3 days of storage, up to but not for the first 3 days.
Man,
Okay.
Just want to let you know if I can.
Okay, now what's this $15 fuel charge?
When the prices of the fuel went up, it's been so long. When the prices of the fuel went up, they sent the letter to us from the town stating that.
You got any proof of that?
No, I lost everything in Hurricane Sandy.
$250. Professional fees, lien paperwork, $250.
Oh yes, for the lien paperwork that I had to pay for the lien paperwork.
May I see a bill?
Yes. And the lien paperwork's there.
And why do you have to go through lien paperwork?
Because you can't just get rid of a vehicle without. New York State rule, you cannot get rid of a vehicle without leaning the vehicle.
And he wouldn't release the title to you?
Nope, not at all. So I went through all the proper procedures.
In order to junk it?
Yes. Putting it in the newspaper, auctioning it off. Nobody showed up for the auction. Has the auction date.
Now, according to you guys, wait, this is interesting because you announce an auction, and according to you guys, you show up, right?
Yes.
Because you figure he'll recognize him. So you show up, and according to you, there was no car, no auction.
No, there wasn't.
Do you really have an auction?
Yeah, you have to have an auction.
Well, I know you're supposed to. I'm not stupid. I'm just saying.
It gets
so
better.
where did you do that? Hold on. Where did you do that?
At my establishment there.
Yeah?
Yep. Nobody came.
So you showed up where?
At New Street.
And then did what? Did you let anybody know you were there for the auction?
No cause.
There was no cause, no auction, nobody on the property.
Nobody wants that car back. You don't want it. They don't want it. You don't want it. Nobody wants that car back. Where's the car right now?
Might be a Coca-Cola can. It's a junk.
Well, that's great because you didn't.
Don't talk to me.
I got more stuff here.
And then on this bill, you also have storage for his personal property that was in the car separately from his car?
It was in the car, but I removed it before I junked it because you can't junk a car with garbage in the car.
Okay, so you're charging him for storage, $400 for storage for the personal property? Amidst that personal property was a tooth?
Yeah,
Yes.
It was a missing tooth. He
Okay,
asked me
hold
for.
on. Talk to me about the tooth. Where was the tooth?
The tooth was in the envelope in the glove compartment.
When your car was being towed, why didn't you take your tooth?
I didn't think of it at the time.
So did you ever make an effort to pick up your personal belongings from there?
Well, I called him and he said, I want the money, I want the title.
Did you tell him, at least give me my tooth, man? Where's the tooth?
Couldn't find it, man. When we emptied out the whole car, couldn't find this tooth.
Okay, first of all, Mr. Edmondson, I have to be I'm going to try to say this as delicately as I can. What planet are you living on that you think that you would get a tow, not pay for a tow, not pay for storage, not pick up your stuff, and somebody's going to pay you $800 for a 1988
I never.
Crown Victoria? Well, that's what you're doing. You're suing for $756 for holding my car hostage. How do you figure that would ever happen? You know that your car got towed,
Yes.
and you should know that when people's cars get towed, they have to pay a bill. But if you
Yes.
don't pay your bills, like what somebody else might do is walk over there in day 2 and 3 and say, I can't do anything, here's a title, junk it, let's call it square, or put me on a payment plan for the $100 you want to charge, whatever it is. I mean, it's not going to be free. Do you think it's going to be free?
I didn't think it was going to be free.
So then
but
what,
he didn't, He kept changing the rates of tow. I mean, the car was in the city
You
of
were
Long Beach.
never going to pay this guy 10 cents for the tow, ever. And I think that you and I both know that. Your girlfriend knows it. We all know it. You were never going to get that car at a tow. It's a 1988 Crown Victoria. I mean,
And got
because you should show some respect for a 1988 Crown Victoria that's still taking you from point A to point B. All right,
No,
folks,
it's
so
not.
here's how it's going to work. As to your claim against him to pay you, let's see, the answer to that would be no. Now the question is, what are you going to pay him? Because he had to go through a bunch of expense thanks to you leaving your car in his yard and not paying your bills. And I come up with a slightly different figure than yours. And my verdict is in your favor in the amount of $1,595.
Thank you.
Judgment for the defendant.
Can I say one thing?
Oh, I live for the moment.
Can he please come get his stuff?
Oh, for the love of all that's holy, go pick up your stuff. And I don't want to hear that you don't have a ride. I'm giving you 72 hours to go there and pick up your stuff. If after 72 hours you have not picked up your stuff, throw out all of his stuff.
Thank you.
Okay?
So the gavel comes down against you here. Step right over here. What's your reaction to the outcome of this case here? Come on up a little bit.
Well,
go.
I'm not finished, so now I guess I have to sue the title company. I mean, the auction company.
You're going to do that next?
Yep,
How are you getting around these days?
by bus.
How about the tooth? What are you going to do about that?
I guess he's going to have to make a fake one, the dentist.
All right, right around the corner that way, okay? All right, so come on in here. You got kind of used to that guy's car, huh?
Yes.
You saw it so many times?
Yes, 16 times.
16 times.
Yeah.
What do you think he was angling for here?
He just wanted to get everything for free, and it wasn't happening.
Ever have characters like this before?
We deal with this all the time.
You do?
Yes.
Okay. Harvey?
Okay, Kurt, real quick. The plaintiff picked up his belongings within the 72-hour period.